This is the Tree of Life, Season 27, Chapter 3. In this episode, we will be discussing how non-hierarchy mediated recursion manages agnostic input into digital media. In the past several episodes, we talked about how there are two forms of infinite recursion. There is hierarchy mediated infinite recursion, which results in shifts in real-world objects with each new consensus. And there is non-hierarchy mediated recursion, which results in shifts in digital objects with each consensus shift. In this episode, we will be talking about the ways these two forms of recursion reflect distinct mechanisms by which the simulation can adjust to any input into the system. In hierarchy mediated recursion, through sequential substitution, we see the digital structure transforming from one set of exclusive word associations to another. This entails the first impulse transforming into the not set of the substitutionary impulse through infinite recursion. In practice, hierarchy-mediated recursion involves expansion of a domain through either importation, by archetype, to the higher domain, or spatial intersection enhancing territoriality of the domain. In other words, this form of infinite recursion is largely a group or user phenomenon. On the other hand, non-hierarchy mediated recursion occurs in spite of the domain. It sees the shifting of archetypal vocabulary to the media domain despite hierarchical restrictions on context length. That is to say, that real-world objects are constrained by restrictions on the context length, while digital objects are open for shifts due to sublimation. From this we can see that any input put into digital form provokes a shift in consensus according to non-hierarchical infinite recursion. This alters the distribution of digital objects pursuant to the shift in digital structures in sequential substitution. The consensus shifts, which result from the adjustment to this input, render the user or source of input predictable again to the system as a whole. Now, by anchoring a user to digital objects, this form of recursion has the impact of preventing pivoting between hierarchies. That is, although context length is mediated by overlapping domains through hierarchies, pivoting is prevented by consensus shifts pursuant to non-hierarchy mediated recursion. This means in practice that any non-denominational input can produce a consensus shift, with the lead time presenting an opportunity for sublimation and verbalization. However, the key point is that the input must straddle multiple domains. It must be fully agnostic, or beyond simple historical categorizations. In this way, by creating two streams for sublimation and verbalization, one which is agnostic and the other which is narrow and precise, one can provoke an opportunity for sublimation along a particular verbalization. Thus, to produce a shift in consensus which enables sublimation, requires a complex input to stream 1, digital output, which crosses domains. B. Observation of the consensus shift. C. Analysis of the consensus shift. D. Sublimation and verbalization along stream 2, digital output. That's the end of the podcast for today.